Now, I have another question to ask, Kathy. As you were speaking, something that came into mind is, do you believe in predestination or free will?
Free will, 3 billion%. Predestination, no, zero.
Okay.
Because we always have, we are each the creator of our own reality. And so even if we've, as we have, agreed to appear in a reality where there's war and some people aren't doing so well, and then there's poverty, we're still in charge of how we experience that. For instance, during the Great Depression, there were people that did fine. That it didn't affect everybody, right? It depends on where you are and what you need or want on soul level or emotionally to experience, how you experience what's going on. But at all times, nothing can be imposed upon us that we don't, at some level, go along with and say, yeah, I need this, maybe consciously, not sometimes. My house flooded during Helene, and I knew darn well why it happened, because I was like, oh, I wonder how one deals with that. That would just be terrible. I dealt with it, and it wasn't pleasant, but it wasn't terrible. But I saw how it happened. It's because I've done this for years now. So anyway, yeah, no predestination. And as a matter of fact, I started my very conscious journey with this many decades ago, when a very dear friend gave me my first Seth book. And for our listeners, Jane Roberts' Seth books, there are 10 or 12 of them. And I read all of them, throughout the decades, and did all the work and did all the years of meditation going within, and tracking this information within consciousness. But Seth said, no one can predict what you're going to do, what your choice is going to be, because you always have choice. And at the very last moment, it doesn't matter what it is. There can be just a sharp left turn, and there's a different choice made. And he said correctly, that's why a psychic can predict. You go to psychics and they predict a certain thing, and they're not wrong if it doesn't come true. It's that there were several, what now the word everyone is using very nicely, timeline. There were several options on the table of timeline. And at the time when they were vibrating with you, this was the one that was really lit up and that they saw. And something changed in you, what you vibrate with, and you made another choice. And so it's not that they were wrong. It's just that you chose another probable reality or timeline. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. That is so well explained, because I have, in the past with myself, have had help from spiritual advisors, and there had been like a prediction laid out, and come to find out that it didn't necessarily happen in that way. Now, that didn't mean it didn't make it true, but you're right. My vibration could have been vibrating differently to have a different outcome. So that is so well explained, and it makes so much sense with certain aspects in my life.
Oh, it will to everybody. And that option was certainly on the table, and it might have been, again, at that time, the brightest option. So I mean, yes, I never go to other people, and I never have, but at one point during my life, I'd had a very painful breakup with someone. This is before I met my current husband. And I went to a very excellent psychic. And I need a little help here, because I was in the weeds, and emotionally you get in the weeds, and then you're not in your highest vibration and as clear as you could be. But anyway, I had seen a very possible a mate coming along, and she saw him too. And then I met my husband, and I went to her and I said, well, here's this person. She's like, oh yeah, but he's not the one. Yeah, well, yeah, except for we made that left turn. And yes, he was the one. And, 30 years later, it just, that's how it goes. But it doesn't mean she was wrong in seeing that.